This is a Kalanchoe plant. I have it in my garden. Look at the size of it. It can grow up to about 10 or even higher, 15 feet tall. This plant most probably is about 10 years old, and we actually grew it from a little plant, and look at this, it's amazing. Now the other name for this plant is the elephant ear cacti, because basically the leaves are enormous, and I'm going to cut one so we can look at it. Let me just go in here. Here we go. There we go. Oh. Now this is the size of its leaf. Now the way you recognize this Kalanchoe elephant ear is because the leaves, first of all, it's all curvy, curvaceous, and it's like a triangle. Now there are two types of elephant ear. I have the one which is very smooth skinned, but there is a furry one. And we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to show you how to propagate. So my name is Alice, and I'm the Red Soil Gardener. Now the beauty about this elephant ear is the one I have variety. Look at that color, it's this lovely sort of olive green color, and then you have all these edges. This is where sometimes you get the babies forming on the plant. You get all these plantlets all around here, and then they do fall, and then before you know it, you get other babies springing up from the soil. Now why I find this plant so beautiful is the trunk, and these are where the leaves come from. So it gives all this beautiful design from where the leaf has actually popped out, and you get all these hollow bits that almost looks like hearts. Now the other thing about this plant, it does flower. I mean, I've lost, that one has actually flowered, so it's at the end of its season. But if I notice up there, the flowers are already coming out. I've never really looked at the flowers, but I suspect they could be yellow or slightly orange. But what a lovely design, and I've actually even got a bird nest sitting in there. Now, I want to say something about my elephant's ear. Now, at a time when I was looking at this garden and thinking, let's change it, we're still in the process, is I found a stem of my elephant ear just thrown on the ground. So what I did is I just stuck it in the soil. With the result, it's growing, and I just thought we'll uproot it and put it in a pot, because the beauty about the elephant ear cacti is people do have it as an indoor plant. So I would love to try this inside the house. So what I did is that I pulled out this plant. As I mentioned, it was there in the garden, just to have a look at it. And just below it, what I found was the babies. And these are from those little plantlets that have been dropping. And look at this, this is beautiful. The leaves again are triangular shape, but they haven't become all crinkly. And at the back, you have all these amazing veins, purple veins, which looks actually very artistic. And then later, as it matures, you do get them slowly forming into this triangular olive color design. And then from there, it continues to grow like this with the enormous leaves. Now, the other thing what I wanted to say is that in a garden, if you have this, as you saw in my garden, the big elephant ear tree, is that when you do plant it in the garden, do have space, because they do branch out. So it's not really a good idea to plant it right next to something else, because it will sort of reach out, and they do get very tall. So this is the plant. So I'm going to pot this and let it stay in the house, because I do understand and I do know that they do make really good house plants. And generally is that if you're about 60 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit in Europe, if your flat is warm enough, then these elephant ear plants will survive the winter. So what I'm going to do is take this plant and put it in here. And don't forget that this is the plant that I just stuck the stem in soil, and it started growing by itself. And actually, if you do look at it, it does start rooting from the node. So the deeper you do put it, you may get a lot of rooting happening at the node. So I'm just going to add a bit of soil in there. It's a very light soil. It's just full of compost, a bit of sand in there, because you have to treat it like a cacti. I'm just going to fill it up a bit more. And it's moist. I've already watered this. Here we go. There you go. There's my elephant ear. Now with these babies, you can just plant them like that again. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to pop them in. There's one. Going to pop it in here. And then what we'll do is that once they do start getting a bit more mature, I'll just move it back in the garden, so we will find a place for it again, have my beautiful elephant ear in my garden. In order to propagate the elephant ear, is all you do is you go into the leaf and you pluck it, as I did here. And then what you do is you just stick it in soil and then you wait. And if you see, I've already got rooting. And once you plant it, then the little babies will sprout from here, the little stems, and you're good to go. So with this, you could actually plant it and it will become an elephant ear cacti. So I'm going to just throw this in here. So basically here we have our elephant ear and it's looking really good. I'm going to let it sit in the shade a bit, not a bit of brightness, but let it sort of settle down and watch it grow, and then I will move it inside the house. But where I'll move it is where it has bright light, but not in direct sun. It does do well in direct sun and also in partial, but in the house I think I will keep it next to a window, but not so close to the window. The thing about the elephant ear is that, first of all, it's a very resilient plant and it is drought resistant. So it's not a matter of actually watering it every few days. You could actually water it, let's say, every 20 days, because it is a cacti and it doesn't want to get water around the roots, otherwise you will get root rot. And also what happens is that you could get an attack of mealybugs and scales, and I would just wash it down with some washing up liquid and get rid of those sort of things, and spider mites, but I don't see any spider mites because this is an outdoor plant for myself, is that it does get attacked, but otherwise it's actually good to go. So thank you so much for joining this episode, and don't forget to like and share, and also subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press that notification bell so that you will always be notified. Thank you so much, and do grow your elephant ear cacti. Isn't it so beautiful? Have a lovely day.